Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to build a full Kubernetes cluster on Proxmox with one control plane, one worker node. Let's get started. First, inside Proxmox, click on your node, then select Local and open ISO images. Click Download from URL. Paste the Ubuntu ISO link from the description or choose your own version. Once the download is complete, it will show Task OK. Now we can create our first virtual machine. Click Create VM. Choose any ID and name you like. This will be the control plane node, so I recommend at least 2 CPU cores and 2 GB of RAM. More is better, especially if you want to deploy real workloads later. Set the disk size to around 20 GB. That's enough for Kubernetes, and you can easily expand it in Proxmox whenever you want. Always set the CPU type to host, because this gives the VM full access to CPU features and avoids virtualization issues. Finish the setup and start the VM. Once it boots, press Enter to open the Ubuntu installer. Choose your language. If you're not using an English keyboard, choose Identify Keyboard and press the keys it asks for. Next, select Ubuntu Minimal. A minimal install removes unnecessary software and gives you better performance. Kubernetes nodes should be as lightweight as possible. You can set a static IP here if you want, but I prefer to do it in the router, as long as the IP stays consistent. When the installer checks for updates and everything looks good, press Done. Skip the advanced storage options and continue. Choose a username and password. Later, I'll show you how to switch to SSH keys for better security. Skip Ubuntu Pro and make sure to enable the Open SSH server so we can log in easily. Finish the installation and reboot. Log in once to confirm everything works. You will need to repeat this setup for every worker node you want. But before we install Kubernetes, let's quickly secure the VM and set up SSH keys. This is optional but recommended. Open a terminal on your main machine and run SSH your username at the IP of your VM. First install nano with sudo apt install nano. Now let's add your SSH key for passwordless login. Open nano-toshed sss/authorized keys, paste your public key, save with Ctrl-O and exit with Ctrl-X. Next, we edit the SSH configuration to disable password authentication. This prevents brute force login attempts and is simply good practice. Open /ssh/hd config. Search with Ctrl-W for password authentication. Uncomment it and set it to no. Also search for use PAM and make sure it's set to yes. Then restart SSH using sudo systemctl restart SSH. Now open the sudoers file so you don't need to type your password every time you run sudo. Use sudo vsudo. And add the line, your username all, no pass D. Now let's prepare the machine for Kubernetes. Start with sudo apt update. Install the required packages. The commands are in the description. We add the Kubernetes keyring. Sign it. And install Kubeadm, kubelet, and kubectl. Kubernetes requires a container runtime, so we will use containerd. It's simple, stable, and widely used in production. Before installing containerd, we need to disable swap. Kubernetes does not allow swap to be enabled. Run sudo swap-auth and use sed to disable it permanently in the config file. Next, check that IP forwarding is enabled, which is required for Kubernetes networking. Search for net.ipv4.ipforward equals 1. If it's there, everything is good. Now update again and install containerd with sudo apt install containerd. Enable it so it starts automatically on boot using sudo systemctl enables now containerd. Check that Containerd created its config files in /etc/containered. Now it's time to create our Kubernetes control plane. Run IP route to check your VM's network interface and confirm which IP Kubernetes should use. Then run kubeadm init. This may take a minute or two. At the end of the output, kubeadm will give you a join command. This command is extremely important. It contains a secure token and the IP of your control plane node. Copy it and store it somewhere safe. You will use this command to add worker nodes. After that, run the post-install commands shown in the terminal to enable kubectl for your user. Now connect to your worker VM and repeat the steps we did earlier. Set up SSH, update everything, disable swap, install Containerd, and install kubeadm and kubectl. But this time, don't run kubeadm init. Instead, run the join command you saved earlier. Make sure to use sudo. Your worker should now join the cluster. Back on the control plane, run kubectl get nodes. You should see both your control plane and your worker node. The worker node may not have a role assigned yet, so let's add one. Use kubectl label node. Check again using kubectl get nodes, and everything should now look good. And that's it. You now have a fully working Kubernetes cluster running on Proxmox with a control plane and one worker. If this video was helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more Homelab and Kubernetes content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.